Alright, so what we're going to do fork service, dust seal change on the Kayaba fork. So first thing you need to do, when you take these off of the bite, you got to back all of the rebound out of the off the cap. Get that needle coming all the way up so we can set it back when we put everything back together. We already loosened the top. I'm just going to take it apart. Alright, we're going to bring it down. So now that we have it apart, we have to compress the spring so we could access the lock nut for the fork cap. And once we get the fork cap off, then we'll continue to the next step, which would be taking all the oil out of the fork. To do that, we gotta have a special tool, which is a fork compressor. And you can buy these from, you'll find it online. I'm sure you can Google it. But this one is made by, I think this one's Race Tech. Yeah, it is Race Tech. So we have it in the vise. We're gonna put the fork back inside of the fork tube of the vase. We're gonna bring that down. What you're going to see here is you're going to have two holes on the spacer, and that's where you want to put the fork compressor tool. So we got that in there. Just take a drill, and we're going to go press it from there. Okay, and what that is going to reveal is when you pull up on the cap, we got to separate the fork cap from this lock nut. And you're starting to see those pictures I showed you in those pieces that you saw in the intro, which you got your spacers, and you got your spacer, which is on top of the fork spring. So there's a tool that with some forks you will put this tool underneath here. It's going to lock down. You can do it here, but I won't need to. But it'll keep this from compressing back up, and it'll expose the nut, and you can take it off real easy. Okay, I'm just going to take this 14 millimeter, put this on the vise. I'm going to take this adjustable wrench, and I'm going to put it onto the nut, and we're going to separate it. Counterclockwise, nice and easy. Okay, nice and easy. When you put these back on there, you don't have to torque it down. All you could do is just make it nice and neat, a little taut, and we're going to pull that out. See how the rod, the rebound rod is connected to the tube, and we're going to take that out, and we're going to put that aside. Alright, we have our nut here. If you don't have a manual and you didn't move that nut, you're going to measure that in millimeters, and you'll see the height of the threads that are showing, which is very important, because if those are off, it'll mess up the rebounding in the fork cap mechanism. It won't rebound right. You'll feel that you'll lose a lot of adjustment if you don't put that nut where it needs to be on that. Now with this fork, I'm actually going to show you, we're going to decompress the fork real quick, and you're going to see that all these parts are going to come back up. Okay. Now with this fork, you know, you can search online if you don't have a manual, and you can try to find the we're going to take the spacer off. Okay, we're going to take the spring out. If you look on the spring, you see that there's a tapered end and a wider end. The tapered end goes up top for the 2006 Honda CBR1000. Okay. Now, I don't know the fork oil height for these. I have an idea from doing research that it's 85 millimeters from the top with the spring out, dampener rod out. So I'm gonna have to look inside and I'm gonna have to take a measurement. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take our tool here. If I can get my assistant, come grab this for me real quick, man. Just hold this straight up for me. Actually, I can do it. No, just hold it just in case. Because I got to step away and grab my flashlight. Other side. Other side. Alright, so what I'm going to do, take my flashlight. I'm going to take this tool, which is a syringe with a needle we're going to use to do the fork oil height later on. We're just going to see, put this down in there, and we're going to see where it touches. And that'll give us an idea where the fork oil is supposed to be. Okay. So we got our measurement. Which is 125. So 125 millimeters. All right, thank you. So now we're going to dump out this fork oil. We're going to let it drain. We're going to remember or write down our measurement. Let that drain. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to get this off and separate it so that we can get all this drained out. And all it is a slide hammer motion. Alright, so we're going to hit this. Let's make this even easier. Let me take the dust cover off first. Just take a screwdriver, put it in between, and just pry it off. Okay. That takes off the dust seal. Just pry it off, be gentle, not to mar anything. That's our dust seal. And inside, you're going to see the retention clip. Making a mess. Hand me another rag, little fella. There we go. Take this out real quick. Thank you. Yeah, let's use a jeweler tool. I think it's a little too wide. There we go. There we go. So, got a retainer clip. And now we're going to do that jack I was telling you about. There we go. So we got that separated. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt the fork. And then what we're going to expose are the parts of the fork. Okay. So what we got here, you can see the orientation of all the things. We have that first. We got that first bushing. Under that, we have the second bushing, which is inside of a groove. You just take your screwdriver, pry it up. You're gonna take that off. Alright, next we're going to take the washer, and you notice that there is a flat side and a round side. Round side goes down onto the fork leg. Alright, the stanchion. Then you got your seal. You're going to work that over the groove. Alright, so you got your old seal. And you got your leg. Take off your retaining clip. Take off your old dust cover. And we're going to let this drain. So we're going to let that leg drain. While that leg is draining, I'm going to go over and I'm going to grab the other leg. You grab the other leg for me, please. If you got two people, why not use them? It's nice to have good friends, huh? Gonna clean up a little bit. So what we're gonna do here, we have to clean all the parts. Alright, so that's the most important thing. When you're doing forks, you gotta clean everything meticulously. If you don't clean everything, you're gonna contaminate your new fluid. And that's one thing we're not gonna do. So if you don't like cleaning, you're not going to like this job. So, let's take this off, man. You know, I don't care about the movement. I'm going to focus this down. Alright. Focus that for me. Hold that for me. Just hold it while I clean this stuff. And we'll get back to all this stuff. Alright, so we're going to clean everything with parts cleaner. This. We're going to get all the gunk off on the outside, and we'll focus mostly on the inside. We're going to get all that old oil and gunk out of there. This is the part you usually don't see on most videos, but this is part of the reason why when you get this service done, you know you're going to get your money's worth. Because everything that's inside of this thing is going to be cleaner than it's ever been since it came out the factory. Very important step, you cannot skip it. You got to clean everything. And with it being oil, you just want to spray it and let it kind of dry, because as soon as you touch it again, it's going to get contaminated again. So you got to wear clean gloves when you do this. Clean gloves when you do this. We're going to take off these seals, these O-rings. We're going to take those off because we don't want part cleaner all over those. And we're going to lubricate those later on. So this is the part you don't see. This is what takes a long time to get all this stuff done. And I don't think in my last video that y'all actually saw me clean all the parts off. Just because it's just meticulous and it's just but this is how you do it. Now, if you go to the shops that have a cleaner, they have a whole tub that they throw this stuff in. But because we're in the lab, we're in the garage, this is the next best thing. This is my tub. That's not necessary. And most of this part cleaner will collect at the bottom. The springs. Don't worry about that. I hope that's sweat inside there, not part cleaner. Let me grab some more rags. Clean everything off. You can see gunk all over it. All over the place. And you will go through a can of spray. So you might as well get a new can. Got my apprentice here learning how to work on these bikes. He's getting a wealth of knowledge right now. Alright, so we got all the parts that are going back on there, sprayed and cleaned. Let me just grab me another towel. I'll wipe all this off. Nice and shiny. Dry everything out. Let this dry. So it's nice and dry. And now we're going to take the leg. Can't forget about the leg. The parts that we're going to have go back on the first one. Need a clip. You need that inner bushing. Ate through those gloves easy. You need that outer bushing. And we need the washer. We need a spacer. And the top of the spacer that goes underneath the fork cap. Need those over there. And we need a new glove because it just ate right through that. And next we're going to take that tube that we had already waiting. We're going to clean it. This is the one that was actually, the fork seal was actually busted. But if you got one fork seal leaking, you might as well do both of them. Don't just do one. Don't let a shop say we're going to take care of one and we're not going to do the other, especially if it may be the first time they ever had services done. So make sure they do both. Alright. Put it back on the tripod.
Hello. Hey, what's up, Travis? How you doing? Yeah, the Lexus GS.
There you go. So you know I get my videos raw, so you know there's always going to be something going on in my videos.
Right, okay.
Alright.
Let me see the others I'm doing is clean as...
So we got everything clean.
Okay, let me think. Right.
Got everything nice and shiny.
I can do that as well.
Nice and shiny.
Yep. Yeah, I remember where you live.
Right? So let me get the camera readjusted.
I 2 o'clock. I can be